What is up, party people, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are a property manager wanting to learn how to use Doorloop, today in this video, I'll walk you guys through that. And in case you guys are new here, what's up guys? My name is Daryl Wilson. Today in this video, I'll walk you guys through how to use Doorloop step by step. Now, in case you guys are new to property management, let me first explain what Doorloop is and all the features it comes with. Doorloop is a property management software designed to simplify the operations of property managers, landlords, and real estate professionals. The software combines a variety of tools to manage properties such as residential and commercial properties. It also offers tenant screening, rent collection, maintenance requests, and financial reporting for all your customers. Here are some key features that I love from Doorloop. Tenant and lease tracking. Doorloop allows users to manage all aspects of tenant relations and lease agreements. It also comes with e-signatures to sign documents online. Number 2, online rent collection. One of the standout features is the ability to collect rent online. Number 3, maintenance requests. Doorloop includes a maintenance request system that helps property managers efficiently track and respond to tenant maintenance issues. Number 4, accounting and financial reporting. Doorloop comes with a variety of financial reporting tools, expense tracking, and customizable financial reporting. And your customers will need this when it comes to tax time. Number 5, owner portal. Doorloop offers a portal for property managers and tenants where they can view financial reports, property performance, and other important information, like the rent they owe. Number 6, marketing tools. Doorloop also provides tools to help with marketing rental properties. Users can create professional listings and post them to multiple sites with just a few clicks. And lastly, integrations. Doorloop integrates with various tools and software systems like QuickBooks and Zillow. Now, we also do have an exclusive discount for Doorloop, so if you guys use our link in the description, you guys will save 10% off any of the plans. So let me walk you guys through how to use Doorloop step by step. You guys ready? Now, there is a link in the description of this video. If you guys click on that, it'll take you to the Doorloop website. Okay, so this is Doorloop.com. Now, Doorloop.com is among the highest rated property management software. You guys can just check out the reviews on various websites. It's actually the most innovative and it's the easiest to use. You'll see it has a really simple to use interface. It's really easy compared to other platforms. I have used all the platforms before making this video, and hands down, Doorloop is just like the best. Now, here's a quick little overview about how Doorloop works, right? On the left side, you're gonna see you have these little categories. So here we have people, and this can be something like all of your tenants right here. You'll see that we have a balance due. We also have owners. So these are people who actively own properties. And then you have vendors, people who generally repair stuff. And then you have prospects. And prospects are people who are typically going to apply for your properties. Over here, we have rentals. You guys can just click on properties and you guys will see that we have a list of properties right here where we have like, the properties, the type, and then also the active units. So overall, Doorloop is really simple to use. And after probably just like an hour or two of using it, you guys will definitely get the hang of it. Now, if you guys use our link in the description of this video, it'll take you to this page right here. Now, you guys will need to request a demo and walk through with an agent before getting access to the actual property management software. So right here, you guys will enter in your email address and then click on request a demo. Oh, here we go. We got a little puzzle we got to solve. Once you guys go ahead and enter that CAPTCHA, you guys will request a demo to see if you guys are a right fit with Doorloop. Now, every single property management software offers this. So right here, you guys will enter your name, your phone number, your units, and then you'll click on continue. Next, it'll ask you about your role. So right here, I'll just put I manage properties and then click on select a time. And then you guys will schedule a time. You guys can even schedule this on the same day, right? So right now for me, it is, see, the 5th, right? So I can actually schedule appointments right here on the 5th as well. So what you guys will do here is you'll select an onboarding session. So you'll go ahead and select the time, click on next, and then you'll go ahead and schedule the events. Once you guys schedule the events, you'll meet with one of the representatives. They'll walk you through the Doorloop software. You guys can pay for your plan. And after that, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to use Doorloop. So once you guys go ahead and pay, I will then meet you guys in the overview and I'll walk you guys through how to use Doorloop step by step. Okay. All right, party people, welcome to the second section of this video. So in this part of the video, we're gonna go ahead and cover all of the Doorloop features. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the Doorloop website. We're going to browse around and explore all the features. But in this part of the video, we're gonna focus more on the property management aspect of this video. So we're gonna go through Doorloop. We're gonna go through all of the features. We're gonna go through the ins and outs and get you guys situated with this software. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. Okay, so welcome to the Doorloop tutorial. So in this part of the video, I'll be explaining how to use Doorloop step by step for complete beginners. You guys ready? Okay. Now, the very first thing we're going to do here once you guys are logged into your portal is down here under settings. Let's click on settings. And up here, you're going to see your personal information. So go ahead and click on personal information. This is where you guys are going to enter in your personal information, your contact information here as well, your address, and then also your time zone. Okay, once you guys have all that set, you'll then click on save. Okay, now the very next thing we're gonna do is right here, you'll click on company information. And this is where you guys will enter in your company information. So this is the name of your company, this is your address, this is your email, your phone number, and then you'll enter in your address right here. You'll also enter in your logo. Now, if you guys need a logo, I know a really good website to get a really professional logo. If you guys do want to use my affiliate link right here, you guys can go to darylwilson.com/Fiverr and press enter, and it'll take you to fiverr.com. So this is a website where you guys can get a bunch of like custom services done for your website and stuff like that. So right here, I'll type in logo. And if we scroll down, you guys are gonna see there are tons of people that'll make you guys a logo for like, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. You guys can even find logos for $5, but I would personally spend maybe like 20 bucks on the logo. Something like this right here, I think this will do perfect, right? So you guys can click on one of these, freelancers, and then you can see their pricing. So they have like the basic, the standard, and the premium, and they can make you guys a really professional logo. When I first got started with YouTube, I actually got my logo from this website. So yeah, it's a great service. I personally use it. They do a bunch of other things as well. I mean, you can just type something in and they'll do like pretty much anything on this website. Okay, so you'll go ahead and enter in your information here, right? Also, really quickly, this is your Doorloop URL. So whenever you guys are sharing the user login URL, this is where users can log in. This is the tenant portal URL, and then also the owner portal URL. You guys can adjust this subdomain to whatever you want. So I just put DW properties. You guys can put something that relates to your business. So rents, real estate, whatever, and they're going to see the name of your website. So it should relate to something about your website. So make sure that you guys do adjust this domain right here. So I'm going to change this back to DW properties, right? And then over here, we have the account owner, which is me. So I am Daryl Wilson, and this is the account owner. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and click on save. Now the next option over here is login and password. You guys can always adjust your login and password right here. If you guys do accept different currencies, you guys can go ahead and adjust the currency to any kind of currency that you guys want as well right here, okay? Now many of you guys watching this probably have staff that you guys work with, right? So right here, let's click on user roles. Now this is basically what users can do on your website, and they have specific access. So we have accountants, full access, maintenance team, and property owners. So for example, let's say you guys have like accountants on your team, right? Here, I'll click on accountants. Now you guys can change this role to anything. This doesn't have to be accountants. This can actually be like the general staff or something, right? So like, general staff. This would be like, someone that you hire that's been working with you for like a month, not necessarily like a manager, right? But just someone that, works with your company and has some decision-making authority, right? So right here, click on objects. And now you're going to see the access level. So for the general staff, what can they do, right? So for example, we can say, all right, you guys can create, edit, and also delete tasks. And you can, give them more authority, right? And for rentals, you can say, all right, you guys can create and edit rentals, but you just can't delete them, because maybe they're going to quit soon and they're going to delete all your stuff and then quit. Maybe, who knows, right? Here we have leases. So can this person create, edit, and delete leases? I'll say, sure, they can create and edit. Rental applications, I'll say, sure, they can view the list, and yeah, there we go, why not? So depending on what you guys want users to have authority to, you guys can go ahead and assign specific access levels for this specific role. Here we have reports. So can the user see all these reports? It's up to you, right? If you don't want them to, you can just uncheck it and they no longer have access to that specific option, right? Here we have settings, and you guys the same thing, right? So no access, view only, and then also edit for these specific options. So if you want them to be able to, edit your company information, you can click on edits, right? And now they have access to edit your company info, okay? All right, so that is the general staff, right? So now I'll click on save. All right, pretty simple, right? And obviously you guys can go here and, you guys can create more roles if you want. So if you have like of various roles. If you have like general staff and then assistant manager and then manager, you guys can create specific roles and I'll give them different access, okay? All right, so let's go back over here and click on settings. And now that we've created the user roles, now we can actually assign users. So here, click on users. And obviously Daryl Wilson, he has full access, right? So he has access to everything. So he can pretty much do everything, right? But let's say, for example, I have like a manager, right? So right here, I'll add one of my staff. And then you'll just go ahead and fill in your staff right here. So this would be like Rebecca, James, right? And then right here, you guys can upload a picture of your staff. Okay, so I'll click on upload and then I'll just use this one right here. So this is like Rebecca, right? Now here I'm gonna enter in her login email address. And this is important because this will actually give her the login credentials and login access to Doorloop. Okay, next we have user role. So here we have full access, general staff, maintenance team, and property owners. So everything that we created before, we can now assign it to these specific users. So I'll click on general staff. Here we can also adjust the contact information, or you can enter in your phone and the email. And then obviously you have address. Next we have properties. Now you guys can give this user access to all the properties or specific properties. So later we're gonna create properties and then you can say, all right, I wanna assign only one of these properties to her because that's her property, right? You don't wanna give her full authority, you just wanna give her some, right? Next is the bank accounts, same thing. So can the user have access to the bank accounts? And if she does, you guys can select which bank account she'll have access to, okay? And then also time zone as well. You guys can adjust the time zone for this user. Okay, so really quick, let's go back and click on users. So as of right now, we have Daryl Wilson, and now we have invited our staff, Rebecca James, and now she can go ahead and log in and make any changes she wants based off the role we've given her. All right, and here is my email, and you guys are gonna see that there is an invite right now. So I'll click on this, and you're gonna see they can now log in right here. So they can go ahead and accept the invitation. So I'll go ahead and open this. Okay, so I went under a new browser, and you guys are gonna see that Rebecca can now accept the invitation. So now she needs to enter in her password, and then click on sign in. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on not now. So I'm on a new browser and you're gonna see that there are some limited options now. So at the bottom left, you're gonna see Rebecca James, and now you'll see that she has access to some of the options, not all of them, but this is where your staff would be able to log in, right? So they can go ahead and take a look at the properties, right? So they can see some of the properties, the units, they're able to see like the active leases right here. So this is now like a point of view from your staff, okay? So that's how you guys can add staff to your Doorloop account. Okay, so now you'll see that Rebecca is now active because now she's an active member. She verified her account and she's all good to go. So let's go back and click on settings really quick. Now we're gonna scroll down right here and you guys are gonna wanna click on company start dates. Now the company start date is important because this is the date to start charging your existing tenants, okay? So Doorloop doesn't know when you're in business basically. So you need to tell them when you're in business and then the clock sort of starts from there, okay? So I'm gonna put 6/1 and then click on save. Okay, so next let's go ahead and scroll down. And these options here, I just want to touch base on really quick. So here we have the owner portal. Now owners are people who actually own the property that you pay for rent, right? So these are the people, like basically the investors, okay? And here we have several options. So we have theme settings, right? This is where you guys can upload your logo, right? We have the color theme, right? And then this is the background image. So over here, you'll see that, I just threw in like a, background, right? Something nice like this, right? So I'll go ahead and open this, right? And then we can make it blue, right? And these other various colors, right? Okay. And then over here, we have features. So this is just features for the owners, they have the tab permissions, request reports. They have access to the owner portal. Here they have reports. So all the owners will actually have access to cash flow statements, profit and loss. And this is important, guys, because I myself own properties and I myself work with property managers and I need this information when it comes to tax time. So for like 1099s and all this information, this is all the information and the reports you can give to your owners. This is if you guys do want to display info for your owners, right? So next we have portal invites, and this is where you guys can create a title for your owners, right? So you'll see, hi, first name, company name, invited you to their owner portal. And then here you guys can send them a welcome message. Okay, so over here in the email, you'll see that we have the owner portal is ready. So I'll click on this. And now you'll see that, they can go ahead and accept the invitation just the same way that your staff has logged in. Now the owners can log in right here. So they can accept the invitation, they'll create an email, and then they can log in directly into their accounts. All right. Okay, so here is also the portal URL. So for some reason, if they ever cannot find it, you can just go ahead and copy this, and then you can go ahead and give that to them. We are also going to put this a little bit later on our websites. So we're going to have like an owner login and then also a tenant login. And that's how we're going to sort of integrate this portal with our WordPress websites. Got it? Okay. Let's go back over here. And then the same thing for the tenants. So just remember that tenants are people who are actually, they're actually renting from you, or they're actually paying you for living in a property. So there are some options here. So we have portal access, payment preferences on how they'll pay you, right? We have bank transfer and credit card. Here we have the portal contact info where you can, put some, company information if you want to do that, or if you don't want to show it, you can hide it. And the same thing, theme settings. Here we have tenant requests, portal invites, and then the URL as well. So essentially it is the same thing, same options, just different people, okay? All right, I'll go ahead now and click on save. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the general settings. We might come back to this a little bit later, but for now, that is a good overview about all the important options in these settings. So now let's go over here and click on overview. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is we're now gonna set up our bank. So over here, we're gonna scroll down and we're going to go to the accounting, and then we're gonna click on setup. Now what we're gonna do here is that we're just gonna create an account. So right here, I'll click on new account, and then we're just gonna enter in some information, right? So here we have the bank, and then here I'm gonna put this as a JP Morgan account, right? JP Morgan. And I'll just put like general banking. Here, click on save. Okay. So again, we're just putting like a general bank right here that we're going to apply to later. Okay. So as of right now, we don't have to, right? We can skip this for now, but we will come back to this, and we are going to apply for Stripe, and this will integrate the bank with Stripe, so we can start accepting payments, and we can start, getting ACH payments and all that stuff. So we'll just add it for now, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is right here under calendar, let's click on calendar. So this is the Doorloop calendar, and whenever you guys create work orders or you schedule events, everything will be displayed right here. Now also, you guys can sync this up with also your Google Calendar. So over here, we have Google Calendar, and if you guys do use this, there is an integration, and setting this up is really simple. So go to Google Calendar if you guys have one. I don't know if you guys do or not, but if in case you guys do, you can integrate this. So over here under the calendar Google, I'll go to settings, and then I'll click on add a calendar, and then right here, I'll click on from URL, and we can go ahead and paste this URL over here. So right here, I'll copy this, and then we can just paste this in, right? And this will sync up with Google Calendar, just in case you guys want to add it. And then if I go back over here, you'll see that Doorloop events now display right here. Now we're going to create events, and we're going to add vendors and work orders. So when we come back to this, you're going to see little events pop up here on your calendar. So we'll come back to this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're now going to create properties. So over here we have rentals, and now let's click on properties. So here you're going to see a list of my properties, right? I have 3 different demo properties that I've used. You'll see that, we just picked some properties up here. So let's go ahead now and add a property. So at the top right, I'll click on add a property. So what kind of property do you guys manage? We have residential, and we also have commercial. So I'm going to put residential. So now we have what best describes your property. You have single, multifamily, condo, townhome, or other. You guys can select whatever one applies to you. Then I'll click on next. So go ahead and put in the address of your property. Now, you guys do want to put an address that actually picks up with Doorloop. So they actually do have a Google Maps API integration, and they can go ahead and pick up addresses, and this will actually verify it through their API. So if the address does exist, this API will find it. Okay, so here's a property. I was actually looking at this. I was gonna buy it, but not sure yet. So I'll go ahead and copy this right here, and I wanna paste this over here on Doorloop. So I'll just enter it in here. So 8086. Let's see, 8086. What was it again? It was East Senate Street. East Senate. There it is. Tucson, Arizona. It picked it up right there. All right. So it's been verified, right? So I'll go ahead and click on next. The unit name, so you can give your property a name right here. So I'll put Tucson Rental. And then you'll put the number of beds. I'll put 4 beds, 3 baths, and I think this is about 3,052 square feet. And the market rent for this, I would say, is about $1,800. Okay. You guys can also add more right here. You can add another units, but we're just gonna skip that for now. So click on next. So next we have the property bank accounts. So you'll see right here, I have my default bank account, Capital One. Over here, you'll see specify bank accounts. If you guys have multiple bank accounts, you'll see right here, JP Morgan. Remember earlier how we created that and we said we'll connect it later? Well, you guys can select it right here if you guys want. Do you guys use different accounts for security deposits? If yes, you'll need to actually specify which accounts. If no, it will pull it from the JP Morgan accounts. Okay, make sense? All right, let's go ahead and click on next. So next we have reserve funds. Now, if you guys do want to set a property reserve, you guys can do that right here. So let's say, for example, you want to create like a cushion of $500. You guys can go ahead and set a property reserve. This is typically used for like repairs, so nothing comes out of your pocket or your account. It basically pays for itself kind of thing. If you guys don't want to reserve, you guys don't have to. You can just click on no and then click on next. So who owns this property? So is this owned by somebody else or is this owned by me? If this is owned by someone else, you'll click on someone else, and then here you guys can add an owner. So I'll go ahead and click on add an owner, and now we're gonna add an owner. So you'll see right here that we have some owners, but I'm gonna create a new owner right now. So right here, new owner. And now just like we created that one staff, we're also gonna create an owner. So these are the people that typically own your property. So I'll go ahead and upload a photo right here. All right, so here is John Smith. We have all information. Now let's click on contact information. If you guys do want to enter in his phone number and email, you guys can do that right here. Here you guys can enter in his address, and this is actually a requirement. You guys do need to enter in the address right here. So just enter in his home address or his business address, right? An alternate address if you guys choose so, right? So if he has an alternate address, you guys can add that in here. I do think this is actually required. So just, I'm gonna enter the same address twice. Here we have the agreements. If you guys do have an agreement, you guys can let them know when this started, right? So I'll just say this starts, you know, this is good for like, I don't know, like a year or something like that, right? Here we have federal taxes. So if this user does want a 1099, he will need to enter in his taxpayer ID to you guys. So that's if he wants a 1099, right? You'll enter that information right there, okay? But for now, I'll just put no. Next, we have send payments. So here I'll turn on send payments. So later on, we'll go ahead and send payments, but for now, we don't have to, but we can just turn this on for now, and we can send payments via email and also mail a check, okay? But for now, I'll just leave this as email. Go back to contact details. For some reason, the image goes away when I go back to the contact details tab, so you'll need to upload the image again. There we go. Once you guys enter all that information, we'll then click on save. Okay, cool. Now, how much property does John own? Does he own all of the house or is he splitting it with somebody? If he owns 100%, you can just put 100%. If he splits it, then you can go ahead and add a second owner and then you can put like 50-50 or something, right? Okay, so now let's click on finish. All right, so your property is ready. We can now set up a rental application. We can add photos and so on and so forth. But for now, let's just go ahead and close this. And now let's click on properties. Okay, so here is our property right here. You'll see that we have this property now, it's available. We can now click on this. And now let's go ahead and adjust this a little bit, right? So right here, I wanna add some photos, right? So I just wanna add some quick photos right here. All right, so let's just add in some photos of the property. Okay. Here we have general information. So this is the property name and the address and so on and so forth, right? Property type, you guys can always come back and adjust this. Here we have amenities. If you guys do want to, add some amenities right here, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some amenities, right? Throw in all these amenities. They've done a good job here adding in all these amenities, right? And then also we have pet policies saying, are pets allowed, are pets not allowed, right? You guys can always adjust that. And then you'll click on save. Okay, so now that we created a property, we're gonna skip the advanced stuff for now, but let's just go ahead and go over here to people. So the first tab right here is tenants. So these are people that are typically already renting out your rentals, right? And next we have owners. So owners are people who own the property, right? So these are the investors. Next we have vendors. These are people who typically repair your properties, right? And then we have prospects. So these are people who are potentially interested in your property and may apply to rent it. So let me show you guys how to quickly create a prospect. So right here, I'll click on add a prospect, and then we're just going to create a new prospect. So let's say, for example, Chad, Chad Wilson right here, he's interested in renting the property. So we need to actually add him here first. So here, I'll add a picture of Chad, right? So I don't know what their picture of Chad, right? Here we have contact information. So you guys will need to enter a mobile phone and email. So I'll just put in some information. And then chad@able.com, right? Next, we have the address. We'll just go ahead and put in a demo address right here. I think for the alternate address, we have to enter that in. I guess we do. I think we need 2 addresses. I'm not sure why. Maybe I made a mistake or something. Here we have marketing profile. So next we have marketing profile, and this is where you guys can tell your staff to contact these people. So here I'll assign Rebecca James to contact this lead, right? He found this website, how, right? You guys can create a lead source a little bit later. It's not that important, but it's basically saying, how did you find this rental, right? Here we can put his credit score. If we already ran his credits, we can put his monthly income, right? $15,000. And this is what he's looking for. He's looking for a 3-bedroom, 4-5 bath. And the most he's willing to spend is like $3,000, right? His desired move-in is the 16th. And he's interested in the property that we created, right? All right. So this actually helps your team actually, feel him out, right? So they're not cold calling him. They have a general idea of what this guy wants. So they can sort of, scout around and look for what he's interested in. That's why we selected the search criteria, so we can get an idea of what he's qualified for. So next we'll click on pets. So next we have pets. If he does have pets, you might want to put that. If not, we can skip it. Here we have vehicles. If he has a vehicle, you guys can enter it right here. And also if he has children, you guys can also select that right there. All right, once that's done, we'll then click on save. Okay, so that's how we can create prospects. These users can later apply for application rentals on our websites. So here is a list of vendors. Now again, vendors are typically people who are going to fix your property with either maintenance requests, or also you guys can create work orders for them and then you can assign them to specific properties. Now before we create a vendor, we first need to create a service for the vendor. So over here under settings, we're gonna scroll down and you're gonna see vendor classifications. Now I've already created a roofing one, right? But maybe you guys wanna have like a plumber, right? So here I'll type in plumber. Wait. How do I spell that? Plumber, is that how you spell it? There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Oops. Looks like something went weird there. Okay, there it goes. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Some error, whatever. All right. So yeah, that is how we now assign a service. Now let's go back over here to people and click on vendors. So at the top right, I'll click on new vendor. And you guys are probably familiar with this page already, right? So we're just going to do the same thing, just like the other ones. So we'll just put in some general information, contact information, right? His address. You guys do need to enter in a address, unfortunately. So just enter in his business address, his alternate address as well. I'm not sure. Maybe that's like maybe we can disable that in the options. I'll actually send that to Doorloop and see if they can turn that off, because I don't think it's mandatory to enter in a second address, right? So here we have services, and under classifications, you're now going to see that we can now assign this guy as plumber, right? And over here, we can actually go ahead and select a vendor category, right? So I'll go ahead and put, what does this guy actually do, right? So I'll just put repairs, okay? Insurance. Now, most of the vendors should be insured. In fact, it is against the law for them to be uninsured. So you guys do want to contact these vendors and find out their insurance. Once you guys do find out their insurance provider, you guys can enter it right here. So let's say, for example, he is working for, I don't know, OSHA, I don't know, and then here's the policy number. And what does this cover? You can put it here. You'll put in the effective dates and then the expiration dates. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that there. All right. And then for coverage, I think you guys need $1 million in personal liability coverage. I think that's standard, right? $1 million in general liability and $2 million in workers' comp. It's something like that. I haven't worked with property managers in a while, but I'm familiar with it. Okay, and then here we have the properties. So the vendor can work on all my properties, or the vendor can work on specific properties. So you guys can assign it. This is actually useful if you guys are a large property management company that manages multiple properties in various states. I own properties in various states as well, so I would be your number one candidate. So I'll just say, he works for all of them. So I'll just say, he works for all of them. He can work on all my properties. Here we have federal taxes. If the user wants a 1099, you guys can go ahead and enter in his taxpayer name, his ID, and stuff like that. Okay. And then also you guys can send payments here directly to this vendor, which we will do a little bit later in this video. Make sense? Okay. So let's go ahead now and save. So right here, I'll click on save. Okay, cool. All right, so that is our vendor. We have now successfully added a vendor to our properties. Okay, next we're gonna click on owners. So if you guys do want to manually add an owner, you guys can go ahead and add it here. Now, these are people who typically call you and say, hey, I have property. I need you to manage them. How much do I have to pay? Or how do we get started right here? You're going to enter their information right here. So you'll enter in their contact information, their address, the agreement, if you have it, federal taxes, and send payments. We did this earlier, right? So this is the same thing. You guys can add new owners, and these are essentially your customers, right? These are people who call you and want you to manage their properties, all right? And then also we have tenants right here. So next we have tenants. Now these are people who are typically already renting out your properties. So these are basically prospects who essentially got approved, right? So we can assign Chad Wilson to one of our properties. So let's do that. Up here at the top, I'll click on add a new lease. Go ahead and close this. And which property is this lease for? Well, East Senate, all right? And then we'll just select the units, and then we'll just select the units, right? This is a Tucson rental. Now, is this a fixed term or is this a month to month, right? Well, I'll just go ahead and put a fixed term, right? So I'll just say this is good for like, I don't know, a year. And when you select the date, they actually just create a year for you automatically, which is pretty cool. I'll go ahead now and click on next. So who are the tenants? Well, it is the prospect, Chad. So next we have the lease tenants. So you'll see right here how we selected Chad, right? And Chad now has access to his tenant portal, which you guys can send him an invite. Now, is renter's insurance required? If it is, you guys can select yes. If not, you can just say not required. Click on next. So when is this going to start charging rent? So when is Doorloop going to start charging rent, basically? Well, I'm going to say, he's going to move it on the 1st, okay? How often do we charge rent? We're going to put monthly. How much does the rent cost? Well, we're going to put $1,800, okay? Here we have the advanced options where you guys can go ahead and add in a second charge if you guys want to do that, right? But I'm not going to, right? I think they're just going to pay once, right? So over here, I'll click on next. So does this require a security deposit? If it does, you'll put yes, and I'll put about $1,800, right? I think that's standard, right? Most people have to pay the either first and last, or the first month and the security deposit. Here, click on next. So next we can go ahead and charge late fees. Now we're going to actually set a default late policy in the general settings next. However, if you guys do want to apply specific late fees for a specific property, you guys can do it right here. So basically, after 7 days, we're going to charge them a fixed amount, right? So we're going to charge them a $250 fee if they don't pay the rent 7 days after the due date. Now, I know there's a lot of zeros right here, guys, and I actually talked to Doorloop about this, and they're going to fix this, hopefully. Next, right here, I'll click on Show Advanced Options. And if you guys do want to go ahead and assign this to a specific category, you guys can do that. So I'm going to assign this over here to late fees, and this is the general balance. And then I'll click on next. Now, if you guys do have an original copy of the lease, you guys can go ahead and upload it right here, right? So just go ahead and upload it right there, okay? And then we'll click on next. So let's review this. We have the property right here, we have the name, we have the rents, the tenants, and so on and so forth. Once you guys are done, you'll then click on finish. And congratulations. So Chad has now successfully been approved, and now he is a tenant. Okay, so we have successfully created a new tenant. Now you guys might notice right here that Chad does not pop up, and that's because Chad has not moved in yet. So if you want to see your future tenants right here under leasing, I'll click on active leases. So right here, you'll see that Chad is not necessarily a tenant yet, but he is moving in soon, right? If you guys do want to make him a tenant right now, you guys can just click on the tenant right here, then click on tenants, and then just click on move in tenant. Then right here, we'll see Chad Wilson, so I can click on Chad. Now this is only if you want to, have him appear in your account. But Chad will have to go ahead and approve the actual move-in, right? So I'll go ahead and invite him, right? And then click on save. Okay, so we did send an invite right here to Chad. Now he'll have to go ahead and check this email, and then he'll have to log in himself and approve this in order to be admitted to Doorloop. And then you'll see Chad right here displays as our tenant. Now Chad will have to go ahead and log into his portal right here. So he's gonna have his account URL, his email, and he will need to accept the invitation. Once he does this over here, you'll see that it'll say that he's like all moved in and stuff like that. So what I'll do over here is I'll go ahead and accept the invitation. So I'll copy this in a new browser. Okay, so Chad has the option to either take a look at the current rentals that you're offering, or he can log into his tenant portal. So I'll click on the tenant portal. Okay, and this is the customer portal, right? So this is where they can make a payment right now. So right now we have disabled payments. We don't have any online right now, so we'll dismiss that. But they can get insurance, right? So if they click on get insurance, they can use Lemonade right here, which is really convenient. They can make new requests for their property. So if there's anything wrong, they can just go ahead and enter that right here, right? And then also they can set up auto pay once we, of course, set up payment methods. So this is a very convenient way for people to pay. They can do everything right here, including getting insurance. So I really do like this platform. It's great. Do you guys have any questions about that? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so now that we created the tenants, the owners, the vendors, and prospects, let's quickly touch base on the late fees. So over here under settings, we did talk about late fees, and we need to now assign those. So let's go ahead and scroll down right here, and we're gonna find the late fees. So you guys can set a global late fee, right? So right here, you'll see 6 days after the rent is due, we'll charge them $250, right? We can let them know, right, if they'll be charged for late fees. We can enable SMS for late fees and stuff like that. And then you have these other options right here if you guys want to go that route, right? You guys can get as detailed as you want. But these are the recommended settings by Doorloop. So I'd recommend to turn these options on right here. The other ones right here, not really sure. I'm not really, I don't want to set a daily limits. If you guys do want to set that, that's like basically charging someone every single day they don't pay you, right? So you can charge them like, $40 every single day for late fees per day, right? But I'll go ahead and turn that off, and then I'll click on save. Okay, so that is a general rundown of some of the basic options. Now really quick, over here under the help section, if you guys ever need help, you guys can go to the Doorloop University right here, where they can help you guys with anything that you guys need, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at their tutorials. So right here is their Doorloop University, and here they have courses on, getting started, account bookkeeping, and all these other things, just in case you guys want to learn a little bit more. Now we covered a majority of this, right? But if you guys ever do want to learn more, Doorloop does offer their own university. Also right here under help, they do have their knowledge base, getting started, and they also have their own forms and templates, just in case you guys need some forms, right? So here they have Alabama residential lease agreements, they have Arizona, California, and so on and so forth. And you guys can just go ahead and click on download and download these forms. So right here, download the forms, then I'll click on download the forms. Once you guys do that, it'll then send this to your email inbox, right? And then here you'll just found this on Google, or just put YouTube, put Daryl Wilson, put me, that'd be very helpful, right? And once you guys do that, it'll then send the forms to your email right here. So if I go ahead and I refresh the page, and then right here, you'll see we have some new California forms, and we can go ahead and download them right here. If you guys do need help, you guys can also contact Doorloop for a demo, and they'll walk you through the whole process. All right, so that is pretty much it for section 1. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. All right, party people, welcome to part 2 of this video. So in this section of the video, we'll be talking more about the finances, how to receive money, how to send it, about tenant portals, and a little bit more about the money aspect for Doorloop. So the very first thing I want you guys to do is over here, let's go over here to tenants right here. Now, one thing I want to touch base upon before we go into how to set up payment gateways and stuff like that. Okay, so here are our current tenants, right? Now, Chad is our current tenant, and you'll see that he has added his information. He has accepted the invites, and now he can log into the portal. The only thing Chad needs to do now is he needs to set up the payment method. So you see this is gray, so he hasn't set it up yet. That's how we know on our end that he hasn't set it up. If your tenants ever need help setting up their payment methods, here on the right side, you guys can click on this little 3 dots and click on log into portal. And this will actually log you into Chad's portal. Okay, so this is Chad's portal. So you'll see it notifies him about his rent due. He can actually apply for insurance right here. So he can actually, apply for his own insurance. So if you guys do want to know if they're insured, you guys can check out their portal. Here, Chad can also, put his requests, or you guys can do it for Chad if you guys, you have to do that. Now, right here, you're going to see make a payment. So Chad can either click on make a payment right here, or he can go ahead and click on set up auto pay. Now, we as an admin have not set up our banking details or added our bank account. So for all tenants as of right now, it's going to say it's unavailable. Once we add our bank account and get approved, then the users can go ahead and make a payment directly to your bank account. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base that you guys can, manage their payment gateway for them just in case they have problems accessing a computer or for whatever reason, right? Who knows? Okay, so that's how you guys can pretty much set up payment gateways for your tenants. Now, really quickly, if you guys are managing a property and you guys want to either take a commission, which most people do, I'll walk you guys through how to set up management fees. So over here, we have rentals. Now remember, this is assuming that you guys are taking a percentage fee for managing the property. So now I'm talking about what does it pay me for managing the properties for the owners, right? Because I'm a property manager and I want to get paid, right? So here I'm going to click on one of our properties. And the first thing I want to do is I wanted to enable management fees. So settings right here, management fees, and I want to turn this on basically. So the first option is use company default management fee structure. So this basically means you guys charge 10% of the rent every single month for all of your properties, no matter where they are, right? Now, if you guys do charge different rates for different properties, then you can turn on enable management fee. This will basically make it so that you guys can actually charge specific fees differently for different properties. So for example, here we have a payee, right? Now, before we actually set the flat fee or the percentage, we need to actually create a vendor for ourselves as the property manager, because we ourselves are taking a fee of the actual income right here. So really quickly, let's go ahead and close this. And over here, we're gonna go to people and then go to vendors. So we do have vendors here that are working for us, but I also do want to create myself as a vendor so that I can actually receive payments from the owners themselves, right? So I'll go ahead and quickly make a vendor for myself. Okay, so I went ahead and added myself right here. So I am basically a vendor technically because I am working for the owners, right? They are hiring me for this job. So technically I am a vendor if you think about it. So what I'm gonna do over here is click on save. And I've added myself as a manager right here. So I am a manager and I need to get paid from the owners, right? So let's go back over here to our properties. So rentals, properties. And then over here, I'm gonna click on this property here. We're gonna go to settings and then go to management fees. So I'm going to turn this on, right? And this time I want to actually set myself right here as a vendor. So here it is, we have Daryl Wilson, right? So I'm basically the main person, right? So here we have management fees. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I was messing around with that earlier. Fees. Now you guys can actually add a fee for cash basis or accrual basis. If you're not sure what that is, cash basis is basically saying when you actually receive the cash, when you have it in your hand, right? Accrual is when you actually send out the invoice, not necessarily when you receive the payments, but when you actually get the cash. So you guys can charge a fee for that, right? So right here, we have the category. So what we can do here is we can find our general maintenance, right? This is our category. Now, what is the fee that you guys take? Now, generally, most property managers take anywhere between, 5 to 15% for managing the property. I think mine in Las Vegas does. I think they charge me 5% of the rent. So the expense right here would just be like, I don't even know what they would call it, right? Just management fees, right? Yeah, there you go. So this person, me and myself, my company, we charge a 5% fee for the rent, right? You guys can also do this on an accrual basis. you guys can charge a flat fee. If you guys charge someone $500 a month to manage all their properties, then you guys can just add a flat fee, right? And then also, we have a minimum fee. So if, for example, they don't make a payment of 5%, then you must take something, right? So we can set a flat fee of like $500, right? And then for the category, I think we'll also put, I don't know, we'll put maintenance fees, management fees, whatever, right? Okay, so as you guys can see, we charge 5% for managing the property. However, if for some reason the rent was not collected, we are still going to charge them $500 a month just because that's what we charge, right? Now, just remember that Doorloop will not send out these payments and they will not collect it on your behalf. This is strictly for your own records, just to know how much money you're owed and how much money they should pay you, right? Okay, so once you guys do decide to set management fees, you guys can go ahead and click on save. Now, we did it for one specific property, right? However, we did mention here in these settings that you guys can actually set it on a global basis. So if we go over here to management fees, we can always go ahead and say, you know what, for Daryl Wilson, we're going to charge, let's see right here, we're going to do like a 5% fee, just like we did before, right? So over here, we'll go ahead and put management fees, right? And this is going to be management fees, right? Go ahead and close that, right? Okay, so that is pretty much how you guys can set up management fees. So remember, this right here is on a global basis, right? Or you guys can set them for individual properties if you guys do want to go that route. Let's go ahead and click on save. Okay, so that is management fees summed up. Okay, so now that we talked about management fees, let me quickly touch base about where you guys can get more information about, how much money people owe you or reports or any of that. So here are the reports, right? Now, if you guys ever need to access any of these right here, you guys can click these. So for example, like this is our balance sheet. You'll see that, anything that is sent right here or paid or security deposits, you guys are gonna see will display right here. Now, if I scroll down right here, you're gonna see we have accounting right here where you guys can see like all the transactions. You can see transaction details, right? Next, you'll see who owes you, right? So if someone does actually owe you money right here, you'll see under the recurring payments, you guys will see like what they owe based off what you have received. Now, as of right now, we don't have anything, right? But once you guys do start making payments, it'll actually start showing the records. And then here we have what we owe. We have tenant reports. So we have our current tenants. So if I click on this, you guys are gonna see our current tenants. So all the information is right here, really nicely organized. I love the report section. I think it has all the information that you guys need. Here we have the prospects, we have the leasing, and then here we have the vendors, we have tasks and owners and all this great stuff, okay? Now, a great report you guys can take a look at is the expenses right here. So the expense transactions. So if you guys actually do ever pay someone, all these will be displayed right here. You guys can see that I did actually kind of, mess around with this and pay someone earlier. But as you guys go, everything will be displayed right here, including your recurring expenses and so on and so forth, okay? So that is pretty much it for reports. Now, I also do want to talk about this create new button. So this is essentially sort of like the sidebar, except there are some options in here that are not available in the sidebar, like giving a refund. If you guys ever want to give someone a refund, maybe they overpaid or something, you guys can do that right here. You guys can also, view your prospects, your owners, and everything right here as well. So this is just another way where you guys can access a lot of the stuff that we saw on the sidebar. There is one thing also I do want to talk about, and that is expense right here. So next we have the expense section, and this is if you guys do need to actually record an expense that you guys paid on, your owner's behalf or for whatever reason, right? So let's say, for example, now that we have some owners and vendors and stuff like that, let's say, for example, we have a roof repair and we need to record this expense for our records, right? So what we're gonna do right here is I'll go ahead and say, here is our accounts. So I'll go ahead and click on our Capital One account, right? And then here we have payment method. So basically saying this money came out of Capital One and we paid via cash, we paid via ePay or check or credit card or whatever, right? So what we're gonna do here is I'll just select ePay. So I'll just basically say that we digitally sent them this money from our bank directly to their bank. Now, which property was this for? Well, I'll put it was for, the new property that Chad moved in, right? And this was the units. Right, here is the category. We'll just put, we'll just put the name of the bank and then the description and then also the amount right here. So this was for like, $10,000. It was very expensive, or $1,000 bucks, right? Okay. And then here you guys can upload any files that you guys need, just in case, if they sent the invoice, you guys can upload the invoice here, or just for your own personal records. Got that? Okay, let's go ahead and click on save. Okay, so that is how we can record an expense. Hey guys, welcome to the second section of this video. So in this part of the Doorloop tutorial, we're gonna focus more on the money aspect. So we're gonna be showing you guys how to link up your bank accounts. We're also going to walk you guys through how to apply for a merchant account and some other information that you guys are gonna need with Doorloop. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. All right, so now that we got the management fees out of the way, I think we're ready to move to the money section of this video. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go back over here to rentals and click on properties. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna add our own business as a property. So essentially, we're going to add in a business property address. This might seem a little strange, but this actually will make sense once we actually make a balance sheet. So up here, let's click on new property. And right now, we're actually going to use ourselves as a property, right? So this is my physical property for my business. So over here, I'll just put commercial, right? We have an office, okay. Here, I'll click on office, and I'll just put in some information here. Okay, so I went ahead and I put in this random address from North Carolina. Here, I'll click on next. Then I'll just put like the office. I'll click on next. We'll use the same default company accounts. Here, I'll click on next. And we're not gonna set reserve funds, right? So I'll just put don't reserve funds. And this is owned by me. Okay, so we essentially set up our own business as a property. So now that we've done that, let's go over here to the accounting, and then right here, let's click on setup. So this is my current bank account that I've actually applied for and we're waiting. Here we have the one that we created earlier. Now, if you guys did not create one earlier, here we can go ahead and create a new bank account. So up here, create a new account. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna put the Chase Bank, right? And this is our Chase bank account. The next is the opening balances. Now at first, I was actually kind of confused about how all this works, but actually after Doorloop explained it to me, things made a little bit more sense. So let's first go ahead and talk about the account balance. So how much money does your actual bank account have right now? Well, I'm gonna put $10,000. So as of right now, this bank account that I'm registering has $10,000 in it. Now, do any of these properties owe you guys money? Well, let's go over here and enter one right here. So we have Parrot Bay Way, and they owe us a balance of $2,800. Okay, so essentially, these guys owe us $2,800. Okay, so you'll see after we do that, the remaining balance is $7,200. Now, this must be zero actually. So the remaining balance must be zero because these actually must equal $10,000 for accounting purposes. So if I click on save right here, you're gonna see the remaining balance must be zero. And to fix this, what we're gonna do is we're going to add our business address, and essentially the business is gonna have the rest of the remainder of the money, right? So over here we have property, and we're gonna select our business address right here, and then we're gonna put the remaining balance right here. So basically what I'm saying here is our business has the rest of the money. So our business is control of the rest. However, Parrot Bay does owe us, so they're gonna have to pay us eventually and stuff like that. Make sense? Okay, so for accounting purposes, these must be equal for the balance sheet. That's why we added a property with the remaining balance on it. Okay, makes sense. So right here, I'll click on save. And then you'll see that we have our Chase Bank right here where we can now click on apply. Now, if you ever want to edit these, they've actually moved this. So you'll have to click on banking up here. And this is where you guys can further edit, right? So I'll click on Chase Bank. So on the right side to edit, I'll go over here and click on edit. And this will bring you back to the screen where we were at before. I'm not really sure why they chose to do this, right? So now if we go over here to opening balance, you'll see that everything is already balanced. So Doorloop is saying, just leave it, right? It's already balanced. There's no reason for you guys to mess with anything. But yeah, so if you guys want to make adjustments, you guys can click there. Next, we have the lease option. And this is essentially if you want to use this account for lease charges, right? So this is strictly up to you. Here we have check printing. Now, to be honest, guys, I don't really know much about check printing. I am not in the business of this. If you guys as property managers want to get more involved with check printing, Doorloop does have a service where they can actually print checks, or you guys can print checks yourselves. So they actually give you this documentation right here of how you guys can, print checks, and they have like different ways on how to do that. But I'm not really sure on how to do this, guys. So this is really up to you if you guys want to go ahead and go this route. Okay, makes sense? All right, I'll go ahead and close this, and then I'll click on save. Okay, so now let's go ahead and connect our bank accounts. You guys are gonna see that we already have this one connected, but we're gonna connect this one right here. So to connect your bank accounts, just click on connection to bank, and then right here, you click on connect accounts. All right, so Doorloop does use Plaid. It's like a service where you guys can actually enter your login details for your bank, and they will sync it with Doorloop. I'll go ahead and click on continue as guest. And here you guys are gonna enter the name of your bank. So, you know, they have pretty much every bank right here. So they have Chase, they have Wells Fargo, right? They have Capital One. They have pretty much every bank in America, at least the ones that are FDIC insured, right? Capital One, and so on and so forth. So what I'll do right here is just, I'll go ahead and click on Chase, and then you'll continue to log in. Now what you're gonna do here is this is gonna redirect you to whatever bank that you guys select, and it's going to connect it with Doorloop. So right here, I'll click on continue to login. Okay, now once you guys go through the login process and you guys log in with your bank, it'll let you guys know that Doorloop wants access to your bank account. So all you'll do right here is click on continue. So next you'll see that you guys can connect specific information. So which information do you want to give Doorloop? For example, if you guys are using various credit cards that are not related to the business or different bank accounts not related, you guys can like uncheck them, right? So for everyone, it'll look different, right? But you guys can choose what you want them to have access to. So I'll go ahead and just click on continue here. All right, and the last step is you'll just click on authorize and authorize the access. And that's it. You guys are gonna see right now the bank has connected. If you guys see updating, that means it's connected. Or if it says connected in green letters, that also means it's connected. Here I'll refresh the page. And there we go. So now the bank account is successfully connected. You guys have any questions about that? Let me know in the comments below. So next we have the online payment setup, and you guys will need to actually create an application and apply for a merchant account with Stripe. If you guys are not familiar with Stripe, Stripe.com is a payment merchant service. They are one of the largest in the United States. And what they're gonna do is they're going to receive the payments on your behalf, and then they're going to send it directly to your bank accounts every single month. Now, I personally have an account with Stripe, guys. They are an amazing merchant service. You're gonna see right here, they deposit money directly into my bank account all the time. They tell me when it's expected, and they let me know about you know, how much I got paid, the money from sales. So this is from one of my e-commerce websites. So we do use this service. You guys will need to go, you know, make an account with Stripe. You'll have to verify your information, you know, submit your bank account. And once you guys do all of that, then you guys can go ahead and sync it up with Doorloop. Now, I believe you guys can also create a new account right here and register directly through Doorloop. I'm not really sure, but I just know that if I go to resume application, I believe they want me to actually log in with my Stripe account. So I believe that you guys will have to make an account with Stripe. So you're gonna see here that they want you to have a Stripe account where you guys will have to use the same email. Now, if you guys have not made an account with Stripe, you guys can, I believe, create one on this page, but since I'm already registered with them, they want me to log in. If this does say that you must have a Stripe account in order to submit the application, all you guys will have to do is just go to stripe.com, make an account, and then you guys can log in directly right here, and this will verify your information, and then the underwriting process will start. This does take a little bit of time, guys, so I'll be very honest and transparent. For this account right here, it has been pending for about a week, so we are still waiting. So that is my personal experience. I did talk to a guy named Danny over there at Doorloop, and they told me that it generally takes no longer than 2 weeks to get approved. So just go ahead and apply, and within 2 weeks, you guys should have your application approved, and Stripe will start sending payments on your behalf. We'll also be talking about how to send payments, but now that we've connected our bank account and we are in the process of getting this approved, we can go over here to the rentals right here, and you guys can actually apply specific bank accounts to specific properties. So for example, I'll go over here and click on Steel Canyon, and I'll go over here and click on settings. And over here, I believe we do have bank accounts. So you guys can actually set specific bank accounts for specific properties, because I'm sure you guys are managing multiple properties and everyone has a different bank account, right? You guys can also do it from, you know, one bank account, or you guys can go ahead and basically say, you know what, I want to apply this bank account for this property. So here we connected the Capital One account to the specific property. And also, if you guys are accepting, like, you know, deposits, you guys can also use a different bank account, or you guys can use the same one. So that's just if you guys do want to assign specific bank accounts for specific properties. Make sense? Okay. So now let's talk about how to send payments over. So really quickly over here, I'll click on plus. And let's say, for example, you guys want to, you want to pay someone, right? So what we're going to do over here is I'm going to add a vendor. I'm going to add Greg Smith. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to now click on the accounts. So I want to pay him from that bank account that we linked up, right? So over here, I'll select Chase Bank. Okay, so I selected my Capital One accounts. You guys can actually pay them through cash, check, credit card or whatever, right? Now remember, this is actually just recording the expense. So remember, you are paying them through credit card. If you guys actually do want to use ePay, there is a specific feature with a website called Checkbook that we can use. So I'll just go ahead and walk you guys through that. So let's say this is for property, Steel Canyon, and this is coming from the Capital One accounts, right? And let's just say this was for like $5. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on save. So basically I created an expense for $5. Now, if you guys did, pay them with a credit card, there's nothing more for you to do. But if you guys do want to use this service, I'll show you guys how to do that. So right here, I'll click on complete ePay. And now we can go ahead and send payments. So over here under online payments, you'll see send payments. Now, if you guys have not registered with Checkbook, you guys can go ahead and go to the registration process and register with Checkbook. I think it's .io or .com. Okay, so this is a website called checkbook.io. Now, checkbook.io will actually send the payments on your behalf. They'll send the payments via check or via ACH, depending on what the customer wants, right? So if you guys are a property manager and you do need to send money to the owner, you guys can use this website in order to send payments. Now, the customers will actually have two options. So they'll have the option to either accept a physical check, which this company will mail out for you guys, or you guys can link their bank account and pay them via ACH. So you'll see in this case right here, Rachel, she said, you know what, I want you guys to pay me via ACH. They don't need to make an account. They'll just enter in their account right here, and the website will deposit the money into their account for you guys automatically. So just to give you guys a verification here, so you'll see that me as the property manager, I sent this person a payment, and then you'll see deposit options. So they will have a few options here, but I have already set up the bank account, so there's nothing further for me to do. Now, I just want to clarify something. So checkbook.io is sending the payments on your behalf, okay? So this website will do all of the sending if you guys are managing properties for owners. Make sense? And Stripe.com is going to receive the money from your tenants and send it directly to your bank account. So just remember, this website sending the payments, this website receiving the payments. Got that? Make sense? There is some confusion between, these two websites, and that's the main difference, is one is sending and one is receiving the payments. All right, so let me just go ahead and give you guys a rundown of how all this works, right? So the first thing that you're gonna do is go to settings, and you're going to link your bank account. So right here, you'll see bank accounts where you guys can link up your accounts. You guys can also add debit cards. So if you click on add debit card, you guys can pay with debit cards as well. Virtual cards, wallet accounts, and even Zelle. So you guys will go through the process here, and you guys can go ahead and also link up your bank account. This actually uses Plate as well, so it is the very same thing that we use with Doorloop as well, right? Once you guys do that, you guys can go ahead and send a payment. So here you'll just put in like, Daryl Wilson, and you'll see how the check changes right there. You'll put in the email, right? And this is the amount number, right? And then here you can just tell them what it's for. So let's just imagine that we are a property manager and we're paying the owner. So we'll put like, payments. Now, if you guys do want higher limits, there is a verification process. So what you guys will have to do here is you guys can actually get paid more than $2,000. I'm sorry, send more than $2,000, but you'll need to go through the verification process with this website. And once they approve your accounts for higher limits, then you guys can send, I think it's up to like $15,000 a day or something like that, right? But if you guys are brand new to the website, they will limit you guys to $2,000. If you guys do want more help over here, you guys can go ahead and ask them for higher limits. So you'll see right here, I want to increase my daily sends, and then they'll let you guys know what you have to do, right? But yeah, just letting you guys know that you guys can send way more than $2,000. So now we have the option for the source bank accounts. So we have selected our bank accounts because this is coming out of our accounts. And we have the option to send the payments where the user can actually decide to accept a check, or they can enter their banking information and then this website will deposit it on our behalf. Also right here, if I click on direct deposits, we can also go ahead and add in their account right here and pay them directly via ACH. Okay, so I entered in a routing number, and you guys can also put in their account number right here. So basically, if you guys are owners, you guys can use this to send them payments every single month, right? Make sense? You guys got that? So remember, you do want to use this website for ACH if you guys do want to send payments to owners, okay? Now, if you guys do want to send checks, all you'll have to do right here is just click on send payments and then click on confirm and send. Okay, so we just sent $1,000, right? So now let's go ahead and check the email that we sent this to. So I'm logged into my mail account right here, and I'm gonna click on this email that we just received. So Daryl Wilson has sent a payment for $1,000. And then right here, you're gonna see that we have this check, and I can click on view deposit options. All right, look at that. So this is pretty cool. So now you'll see that we received a payment for our rental, and the user can actually go ahead and deposit this into his bank account right here, right? Or they can go ahead and print this out and then they can go ahead and cash it, right? So right here, I'll click on deposit. Is this for a individual or business? I'll click on individual. I have read. And then here I'll just put a phone number. Next, the user has the option to actually link their bank account and get paid directly from you. So they can click on instant verification, or they can just click on manual verification, enter in their account, and then this website will actually send the money directly into their accounts. You guys have any questions about this website? Let me know in the comments below. Also down here, you guys can click on this little dot right here and get any information you guys need from checkbook.io. Now, once we actually send the money to the owner, or they actually decides to enter in their account information, you guys are gonna see that it has been paid, right? So this syncs up directly with Checkbook. So you guys don't need to go ahead and log into Checkbook all the time. You guys can view it from right here. So that's where you guys can, view your payments and also how to add expenses for your property management websites. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about one of the more important aspects, and that is the lease agreements and rental applications. So right here, you guys are gonna see that we have some rental applications. Now you guys can go ahead and create your own rental applications here at the top right by clicking on new application. Now what this is gonna do here is once we create a prospect, you can actually have these users apply and you guys can run their credits. So for example, we have John Wilson, right? But really quickly, just in case you guys forgot how to make prospects, over here under the people section under prospects, you guys will go ahead and just click on plus new prospect, and then you will create a prospect, right? Then you can have this person apply for a specific property. So let's go back over here to leasing, rental applications. Here you'll see that we already do have some people that have applied, right? So here I'll click on new application. And I'll just we'll just grab a prospect here. And we're gonna select the property, right? So I'll just say he's applying for this one right here, right? And who is this assigned to, right? So we can assign this to one of our agents. So I'll just put Daryl Wilson for now. Here we can select the move-in date, right? So next we have the specify fees for this application. So right here, you guys can choose a screening fee, which is basically $50 for them to apply, and that means they'll have to run their credits. The next is the cover screening cost. This essentially means that you guys will be billed $50 and that you guys will have to cover their cost, right? So it's really up to you. So you can choose to have them cover it, or you guys can cover the cost. Right here, I'll click on save. Okay, now really quick, this will actually send the application to the actual user. So they're going to apply for it on their own, and then they're gonna get an email. So by sending this application, they're going to get an email from us and they are going to apply it on their end. You guys can also link the application on your websites just in case you want people to apply directly on your website. But really quick, let's go over here to overview. So here you guys are gonna see that the applicant's information once they fill it out. You'll see the reports, and then you guys can decide if you want to approve them. Right here, you'll see you guys can also copy this link. So for some reason, if they didn't get the email, you guys can just go ahead and copy and paste this link right here. And this is the rental application. So let's just imagine that someone's applying for a property for the very first time. They'll go, okay, I got this email right here and I want to go ahead and apply. They'll go ahead and put in their email, and then they'll enter in their code that they get sent to their email. Okay, now really quick over here under the overview section, this is where you guys can actually copy and paste the link for the application. You can also send reminders. Here is where the ports will be propagated once they actually fill out the application and TransUnion runs their credits. And then here you guys can give them an updated decision. So do you guys want to approve these people? Do you want to reject them? You guys can go ahead and approve or reject people right here. Now, just to give you guys a little rundown of how all this will look, over here, you'll see that they'll get an email just like this where they can apply right here, right? Now, again, you guys can always take the link and link it on the website that we created earlier. Also over here, here's a little presentation of Doorloop, and this is exactly what it's going to look like. So under the report section, this is a little video from them. You're going to see that you can see their criminal reports, their credits, and also their eviction reports. Once you guys actually run their credits, it's going to look something like this right here, where it's going to let them know about their derogatory accounts, their balances, and it's also going to show them a credit score right here and also the credit score in your account once they actually fill out everything. So everything will be available right here under the report section once they actually go ahead and fill this out. Now, before we copy and paste the link for the applications, if we go over here and click on Open Rental Application Settings, this is where you guys can further customize the information for your tenants, right? So generally, they're just going to ask them about the base information like their income, their first name, last name, their social security number. If you guys want to ask them more information like their gender, their marital status, or over here under the residential, you guys can further ask more questions, right? So over here under employment, if you guys want to ask more like their job type, their income, all this information, you guys can turn this on or off. Also, if you guys do want to create more questions, over here under the Create Questions tab, you guys can create more questions right here by asking them something like, why did you quit? Right? Why did you quit? And then you can change this answer to free text where they can explain their answer, right? So you guys can fully customize the application sent out on your Doorloop account just by going over there and opening up these settings. So now that we covered like applications and how to send them and how to give them the link for it, let me show you guys quickly how to add this to the websites. So for example, over here, we're gonna go to rental applications, and here you're gonna see company link right here. What I wanna do is I actually wanna add this to my WordPress websites. So I want to actually have a button here where people can just click on the button and then apply directly on my WordPress websites. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and integrate this. I'm gonna turn on my page builder. So I'm over here under the heading section for my website, and for my menu right here, I'm gonna click on the view properties, and what I wanna first do here is I wanna link my properties. So I'm gonna go back to my website over here, and the first thing I wanna do is take the company link information. And what this link does is this actually showcases the property. So if we paste this, what's gonna happen here is that it's gonna show all of the So here we have all of the current available units. We have the Alabama house. We need to hide this one. I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. And then here we have a list of properties, right? When a user clicks on a property right here, they can just apply directly online, just like that. And then they can go through the login process, and then they can apply for this specific property. See how easy that is, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add this to my websites. So over here under view properties, I wanna go ahead and paste that in there like that, right? And then click on update. Now, if you guys are managing maybe just like one property or something like that, what you can do here is you don't have to use this platform. You can just simply take this link right here and then just copy this, and then you can just invite users to apply directly on this specific property, right? So it really is up to you, right? So over here, I'll just throw in this link for just this one property, just in case you guys are just, you know, maybe just inviting someone for just one, right? So I'll go ahead and paste that there. And then I'll take a look at my website. So now my websites, if I go over here and if I click on view properties, what this is gonna do now, it's gonna take them to my Doorloop account where they can go ahead and apply for it, right? Really cool, really convenient. Also, what we can do here is over here under the rental app, I can click on this and it's gonna open this property right here, right? And then they can apply directly online, right? So really cool, right? So that is pretty much how you guys can integrate Doorloop with your WordPress websites. Essentially, all you're doing here is you're just adding the links. And then also when we created properties earlier, you can just go ahead and add a property here and just really go thorough with it. So that's how you guys can pretty much integrate your WordPress website with Doorloop. And then obviously you guys can, obviously update these. So you would click on one of these and then you would have these match up to whatever property you're marketing, because this will actually display it much better than Doorloop. You'll see here that you can, be very descriptive. You can create an address. So you do want to create this website here to really showcase it and then, show them the actual, the agents. And then you guys can use Doorloop right here to actually have people apply and run a successful property management business. Now, the very last thing that I wanted to touch base on was to hide the business property. So this one right here, all you got to do is just click on make inactive right here so that this is no longer shows, right? So we can just go ahead and hide this, and this will no longer show for people that are applying for properties. So right here, all you got to do is make the unit inactive, and then you'll just go over here and click on make inactive, and this will actually make it so it does not display for users to to rent and stuff like that. So that is pretty much how you guys can create a full-on property management website and business. This has been a long video, guys. I hope I covered everything. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.